Morning all, how are we all doing? Morning Forex Machinist, you've changed your name on YouTube to actually be Forex Machinist. You've set up a special account, haven't you? Just so I don't get confused by your name. Morning Sammy. Good morning today, all my famalams. That's the new one, famalams, not heard that one before. Right, today, last day of the month, lots of options expiring today, futures expiry, could be a busy day, and we've got non-farm employment today as well. So morning Shout, morning Evil, Jane, Themba. Yeah, because you kept being called cow. Qua, see? Qua, I remembered. Quality. Right, let's get started with a recap of yesterday. Didn't really do a lot yesterday on this account. Closed out a DAX. Woo, one DAX trade. That's all I managed to do yesterday. Just that one short, which I took as we pushed up, got an ADR hit, and pulled back down. Weird down the DAX yesterday. Nice gap fill play going on at the moment, by the way. Target. Yeah, weird down the DAX yesterday. So ADR on the DAX is 250. We pushed up 250, and then we dropped 280. So basically we had an ADR hit to the high and then immediately an ADR hit to the low. Very weird day. And we ended up back where we started. So of course, as if you look at the daily chart yesterday, you'll see that, which is a huge shooting star. So yeah, remember I said yesterday I was looking for a pullback 50%. Basically we pulled back, we went a little bit over that, and then we pulled back down again and gapped up today. So that's why DAX, I'm still short on it. I've got a sell position just gone in this morning with the EA. Yeah, looking for continuation short basically. Shooting stars though mean nothing when they're where they are. Shooting stars and hammers are only relevant at the top or the bottom of a move. If you see a shooting star or a hammer in the middle like that, it isn't necessarily a sign of bearishness. It just means it's an indecision day, but it is more bearish obviously than bullish, so it's good. That's a perfect shooting star there. So it's after a push up, and it's a sign of the buyers running out of steam and the sellers taking control, which then starts the opposite move. If you see one in the middle of a range like that, it just means that we couldn't go any higher at the moment, but it doesn't necessarily mean we're going low. It doesn't mean it's the end of the move. It signals the end of a move, so it should be spotted at the bottom or the top. So after a move, usually with an RSI extension, is the ideal for hammers and shooting stars. Morning to you, so yeah, that was all the banks yesterday on that one on the DAX. The My Forex Funds account, I passed evaluation yesterday. I scalped the end of it. I can't show you this trades because the account's reset, obviously, because I'm on phase 2 now. So new account, new 50k account for phase 2. Target is 2.5k on phase 2, which is 5%, instead of the 8% on phase 1. So a slightly smaller target on phase 2. So what I've done is I've set the EA up pretty much the same as it was before. It's trading oil, it's going to trade DAX, but it's got to be extended basically. So I'm running on M5, and basically we have to have an extension on RSI and then a reversal alert. So it hasn't taken that one because RSI was not extended. So I've got it running on the Swiss yen, US dollar Swiss, Euro CAD, Euro odd, pound New Zealand, and US dollar CAD. So those are the pairs that I'm running it on, as well as the DAX and oil. Directional bias is set on each one. So shorts on DAX, shorts US dollar CAD, both ways on pound New Zealand, because pound New Zealand is a bit rangy. Euro odd shorts, Euro CAD shorts. At the moment, these are obviously with the euro. Wait and see what happens next week. US dollar, Swiss shorts, Swiss yen longs, and oil longs. So those are the pairs I'm running on at the moment. But I will be adding, dependent on obviously what happens. If I see some decent RSI extensions, then I will add pairs on as things get extended on RSI. So if I see stuff getting extended, then I'll put the EA on and get it to trade them. So morning Tammy, morning Analia, Fabio, morning Popgaiter. Good name. So that was yesterday. So yeah, passed the evaluation yesterday on phase 1, and phase 2 I've got a few trades on. So target on EA is targeting basically $300. So if a pair gets to $300 in profit, it will automatically bank it. I'm eyeballing as well, so I'm going to play it by ear as I always do. Euro odd is dropping. If I see Euro odd hit ADR and it's $190 in profit or something, I'll be banking it. I'm not going to just let the EA 100% trade it. I'm going to bank when I think it needs banking. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, that's this morning so far. Right, news. Today we've got CPIs for Europe. These are orange, but caveat on this at the moment is that we had some big news, well, not big news yesterday, but a lot of the Euro board members came out basically and backed a 0.75 to 1%, and they were even talking rates next week, which obviously we're not sure if the market's already factoring in this bullish change or not. But we'll see what happens. So the CPI figures, although orange, because we've got some news come out of the euro yesterday, some confirmation news of rate increase, the difference here may make a bigger impact than normal. If inflation basically as an estimate is going to be a lot bigger, that would back a much larger rate increase next week, which means we may well get a much bigger movement. So if this comes out big negative, the rate increase may be seen to be not quite as severe next week, in which case then we might see us plateau or even pull back. So watch this morning at 10. It may or may not have an impact, but we need to be aware of it being released. So don't go, oh, why is the euro suddenly spiking at 10 o'clock? News every morning. First thing you do is you look at the news, see what's coming up, so you're prepared for it. Then we got non-farm employment change at 1:15 this afternoon for the US dollar, and we've got the CAD GDP this afternoon as well. Chicago PMI doesn't really do a lot. CAD GDP might do, unlikely. The GDP figures, the month on months tend to be pretty accurate, so we don't get too many shocks, so we should be fine there. Big one tomorrow is the CPI for the Swissy. That could well power up the Swissy, and it could also power up the euro. 7:30 tomorrow morning. So anything I've got Swiss franc that's in profit today, I'm going to take. So that's news this morning. Evil RSI extension 70-30 or even stricter 70-30. So the EA is running on 70-30. So the rules are basically very simple. On M5, we need to be extended on RSI 21 70-30 and to get a reversal alert. Simple as that. It's not complicated. It's just getting into positions when we're extended. Quarter ADR apart because it's aggressive. and obviously I'm picking the direction based on my bias. But yeah, quarter of an ADR apart basically. So because I've only got 30 days to complete the challenge, I have to be aggressive. This is way more aggressive than I would normally be, especially on M5. But I want to be in and out fast, which is hence why I'm saying, you know, I'm going to take, if I see $150 or $200 over it, I'm going to bank it, because I'm trading M5. This can get undone just as fast as it can get put in the bank. So I want to be in and out fairly quick. So 70-30 extension. I'm not getting any more aggressive than that at the moment, because it's summer trading. You can see the RSI dash, you know, it's flat as a pancake. So getting anything more than a 70 to 75 extension isn't particularly easy at the moment, because the market is very, you know, we're moving, but it's not moving with that aggression that we normally get. So RSI extensions are harder. So the 70-30 is actually fairly extended for summer trading. So I'm happy with 70-30. Overnight news. There was a few bits and pieces. French GDP has just come out, 0.5 as forecast. We had yesterday. We had Taiwan shoot down a Chinese drone. So there's a bit of actual contact happening now over there. So it is starting to escalate. They're just poking each other harder, basically, aren't they? So we might see something come out of China. If that happens, we're going to see the stock market collapse and probably spikes all over the place on Forex currencies if there is any proper conflict starting, as people just reposition money and put it into safe havens. Hence, the Swissy might power up massively as well, because the Swissy is becoming a good safe haven at the moment. Nothing particularly big out of Japan. Nothing positive. It's all negative out of Japan again for the yen. We've got some Russian pipeline news. They've suspended some more pipeline because they haven't paid the bills. A bit on Taiwan and China there. But overall, overnight, there wasn't a massive amount of news. Refresh that because I can't get back any further at the moment. The main news we got, this is all the expiries today, by the way, options. So there's a lot of options expiring today. We could get a lot of movement today, and it's end of month, so a lot of book balancing going on. But here, this is the one I was talking about earlier. So there's another ECB member now backing. So there's now 4 members definitely backing higher rate increases. This one's going for 1.5%, which is the highest so far. So, you know, I think a 0.75 is definitely on the cards, possibly even 1%. I think 1.5 is a little bit aggressive, but they are well behind. So UK inflation forecast to get to 22%. Woohoo! Things are going to get expensive. Fed Williams, it will take some time to get back to 2% because you haven't even seen the peak of it yet. So yeah, there's a lot of news going on, but it's nothing really that we don't know. Backing 7.5 increase on the US, again, kind of factored in. So nothing dramatic overnight. Really. Aussie dollar very strong at the moment. US dollar very weak at the moment. So Aussie dollar, US dollar short would be good today. If you like trading currencies, strength. Right. So looking at the dashes. So ADRs, we had loads of ADRs yesterday. A lot of euro hit yesterday. We had ADR hits all over the place yesterday. So it's a busy day. So far this morning, we've got Aussie New Zealand. Let's just have a quick look at that one. Looks like a bit of a broker manipulation to me. So it's just about an ADR. I'd be not sure that is an ADR, but let's have a look at the Aussie New Zealand over here. Yes, it's not a hit. It's not a hit. Really, that's broker manipulation. It's you know what, RoboForex, every broker is hit and miss. Some days I look at RoboForex and go, yeah, you're spot on, you don't do anything naughty, and then you get all this, and then other brokers you don't get it, and you just have to take it on the chin. ADR is always going to be a little bit out because you're always going to get a little bit of manipulation. So every time I see anything to do with New Zealand dollar, mainly, that's the main thing that gets manipulated like this, New Zealand dollar. Always have a look and just see if there's any craziness. And if you've got another broker, just compare the brokers. That's not an ADR hit. ADR hit would be a little bit higher than that. So kind of ignore that one. Apart from that, there's nothing else on ADR. Didn't get any weeklies. I suspect we'll get some weeklies hit today, potentially. Mainly the Euros if they continue to push. But I've got a feeling they might turn around. So Aussie New Zealand looks like a nice short. But never again, Sam. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, as I say, I'm long Aussie New Zealand. Have been long for ages on it. I'm not really interested in shorting it. It was a lovely short. Everybody got out of their shorts on the Aussie New Zealand, didn't they? We've just had the reversal alert, which we are now retesting. So yeah, I want it down to here. So I can hear a phone going off. Sorry, somebody else's. So yeah, back down to here, I'm looking for longs on it. So yeah, if it can come down, that'd be really good. We've just got roughly an ADR hit this morning, but that's a gap fill up to there. So potentially we could open up a new leg down. Forex Machinist, I'm in short on Euro CAD and Euro US. Yeah, so basically what I've got on at the moment, I have Euro CAD short. Am I hearing things? Just going to clear my ears out. I've just got this like ringing noise in my ear. It sounds like a mobile phone ringing, but weird. Bizarre. I've put some background music on. Yes, I got Euro CAD short, first position on that one yesterday. Obviously extended. I've been looking to get into euros for shorts for a while, and we've got the extension now. This could be a mistake. Depends on what happens with the euro. Obviously, we've got these rumours coming in of the massive rate increases. This to me is potentially the market factoring in the rate increase, and what will happen when the rate actually comes out is business as usual because they won't be impressed with it. So we'll see. But yeah, I'm in short. We're extended on the 4 hour. We were extended on the hourly yesterday. So got first position short, reverse alert, retest, M pattern reversal gone in, which is absolutely beautiful. It's come down nicely this morning and looking for initial support here. Unless this is a new leg down, in which case obviously yeah, we're looking to come down and challenge those lows at some point. So yeah, in Euro CAD, Euro New Zealand, I'm in short already, been in short on that one since here. So I was looking basically for a bit of a pullback and drop from there. We didn't get it. We pushed up because obviously the euro's powered up a little bit. We've pulled back up into resistance. So interested to see where we go from here. We've got the gap fill, which got partially done there. It could go either way, this one. It's going to be dependent on the euro, obviously. So I've got a few positions on that one. US dollar Swiss short, pushing like crazy, this one, weak Swissy, ahead of tomorrow's news on the Swiss franc. So hopefully this is all manipulation ahead of the Swiss franc news tomorrow, and then the Swiss is going to power up like crazy and drop the whole lot. I've got an oil. So oil collapsed yesterday, and it looks like it wants to go again today, but we'll see. So with oil yesterday, we had options expiries on oil yesterday. So the futures got settled yesterday. whenever we have settlement on futures, which is why I'm saying today might be a bit of a volatile day, we've got a lot of FX pairs settling today, you get a big push and movement towards the levels quite often. So I'm putting this down to futures expiry yesterday, but OPEC did come out and say actually they don't really fancy having oil production reduced, which was the opposite of what they said previously. So that may have well been that. We don't know whether this is fundamental or whether it is just a futures expiry move and obviously end of month sell off. So we'll see what happens today, but we have put in new market structure. So we've now got a new high put in. So your high or low can be anywhere from that low. So anywhere down here potentially we could pull back to. So I would like to see us get no more than an ADR push today. If we get an ADR push today, I'll scale in again and then look for continuation moves to the upside. So we will see what happens with oil today, but I'm not sure this is real, this move. I think this is just a manipulation move, and we've got some lovely propulsion gaps, especially this one. This is a textbook propulsion gap. This one's a little bit more of a pullback move. So, but equally, I think we're going to come back up to here at some point. It's whether or not we want to push down to ADR first or push up. So we'll see what happens with oil today. And I've just taken my first act. Again, well, not my first act, I've just taken another act. So that's what I've got on at the moment. So looking at oil, obviously it's a big bearish engulfing yesterday on the downtrend, but you know there's an argument for not letting this 85 a barrel go. So even if we do push down to here, I get the feeling we're more likely going to go range bound than anything, and then we'll start another leg up at some point soon. So it's either a pullback and then we're just going to pull back and push, or we're going to come into a range, in which case then obviously I'll be aggressively buying the lows to get out the position down there, but still like it long. This 85 to 95 a barrel area pre-Ukraine I think will hold. So as I say, one or the other, but we'll find out in the next couple of days. We've got oil inventories this afternoon, always on a Wednesday. I really wish they'd make it orange rather than yellow, because it's annoying having to switch. But yeah, 3:30 this afternoon, as always, we have oil inventories. So we will see what happens to inventories. If inventories are lower than forecast, that's good for oil. So looking for less than -0.4, and we should get a nice push on oil this afternoon with that. Right, so that's oil. Indices, obviously bearish engulfing yesterday on the DAX. Did exactly what I was looking for it to do, which was a 50% fill on the propulsion move, and that opens up next leg down, looking to target these lows. So I'm going to continue to sell on the DAX and just keep getting in short, scaling in short, and taking advantage of the drops. Same for the US indices. We had a bearish engulfing on the NASDAQ and the S&P and the Dow. Obviously, these all do the same, pretty much the same thing every time, so pick one or the other. But yeah, all bearish, all doing the same thing, all moving down. So continuation shorts, and we're looking basically to come down to pre-COVID levels at some point. Assuming that we're going to continue the bear market and all of a sudden inflation isn't going to go, actually don't worry about me, and everyone's going to get rich again. There's absolutely no reason why we shouldn't be coming back down here. We haven't even entered the recession yet, so yeah, bearish across the board. Bitcoin, although I don't trade it, is doing the same, obviously, as we expect. So flag break to the downside and continuation drop. 12,500 I reckon somewhere there is where I reckon we're going to stop. If it gets there and stops. I say stop, bounce, I mean. But yeah, I don't suspect that's going to continue. Gold, someone asked me about gold yesterday in a DM. I don't trade gold, but gold is at the moment very difficult to call. It's a US dollar cross, and obviously the US dollar at the moment is a bit of a question mark as to whether it's bullish or bearish. It has its own life, gold, because obviously gold is traded as a currency, as a commodity, but at the moment we've got problems with a certain country hoarding the vast majority of it. So as long as Russia is got an export ban on gold, in theory we should see the price driven up. However, we've got massive manufacturing problems in technology at the moment because there's not enough gold about. So to me, the rules of supply and demand state that we should be seeing an increase in gold prices, but it's being held down at the moment. So it's a bit of a difficult one to call. Obviously, at the moment we're bearish. There's the Ukraine crisis, and as expected, gold being held, the vast majority of it by Russia, you would expect the price to go up as the supply from Russia dropped. But what's happened is it's come down. So it's weird. It's going completely the wrong way. But that could well be your peak formation low gone in on the daily. We have tapped perfectly into resistance, which would indicate a new leg down and a new lower low coming. I don't know. And this is partly why I don't trade it, because it's a very odd instrument, because it's a cross and it's also a commodity. It's a funny thing. It gets manipulated lots, and it puts in weird moves that don't make logical sense, which is why I just don't get involved in it. But for me, I get this feeling we are going to challenge those highs and challenge that resistance at some point and break it. But anyway, don't know. Can't help them gold. Whoever asked me. I don't have DAX. I have Germany 30, which looks alien compared to my DAX. So the same thing. DAX is Germany 40, Germany 30. Same thing. It's DAX. German exchange. It will look different dependent on your broker. So some brokers, the vast majority of brokers, I find, will show you the Frankfurt trading hours. So you'll get the market will close in the evening, and then it will open again at 7 a.m. and then you will get a gap. Yeah, so you will get usually every morning you'll get some kind of gap on the DAX. Yeah, most mornings, not all, but most. Or you will have a broker that uses overnight rates like this one, where basically 11:45 and then 1 o'clock. So you have a 1 hour gap, basically from 12 to 1. You have 1 hour where they don't show any price action. So all of this that you see up until 7 a.m. there, all of this isn't actually real trading on the exchange, because the exchange is shut, doesn't open until 7 a.m. So this is why a lot of brokers don't show this. This is just broker pricing in. So the price of stocks is calculated and evaluated, and it still has a residual value. It's just that nobody is able to trade it. So when you get the market closing in one spot and opening in another, you'll have an inefficiency there where you will have traders, institutions trapped on the wrong side. This is why gaps fill, to balance the books, to get the last longs that I took there, or the last shorts that I took there, for example, get them balanced. So I want to get out of those shorts or get out of those longs, whichever way the gap's gone. That's why you get the gap fills, which quite often happen same day. So personally, I prefer a broker that shows me those gaps very, very simply, because it's easier to spot them. But it will look different depending on whether or not you have or you haven't got that overnight data, basically. Whereas obviously things like the S&P, you have the Globex session. So the S&P shuts at 11, opens at 3. But this is the Globex. So this is the Chicago Mercantile. This is real trading going on the Chicago Mercantile Globex exchange, which is the overnight stock exchange. But the market actually opens at 2:30. The New York Stock Exchange bell rings at 2:30 UK time. But everything that's traded before there is traded on Globex. But the big boys don't trade Globex. They trade New York Open. So they need the volume, the volatility. You don't get the volume over Globex because it's mainly algorithmic. But you don't have that with the DAX. The DAX doesn't have that overnight thing, which is why you should have a broker that really shows you proper Frankfurt hours, in my opinion, but each to their own. Anywho, there you go. That's why your chart looks different. Right, so nothing on the ADRs, nothing on the RSIs at all. Flat as a pancake, dead. So I'll quickly whiz through all the pairs this morning. If there's anything you want to look at in detail, shout out, let me know. But I'm going to whiz through all the pairs because we had a lot of volume. I did do a full analysis of all pairs yesterday, but it was Tuesday yesterday, and I normally do it Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and it's Wednesday today, but it's mine because I wasn't here Monday because of the bank holiday, so it's a really confusing week. Anyway, so I'm going to basically do a quick flip through of all the pairs because we had a lot of movement yesterday, mainly on those euros. So I'm going to whiz through everything and just have a quick rundown again as well. But if there's anything you want to look at in detail, obviously, do let me know. Starting at the top, Aussie CAD didn't get a lot of movement on this one yesterday. We are contracting at the minute. Can we do EJ? Yeah, do EJ. We are contracting at the minute. Nothing particularly of interest there. I'm not going to go into a full analysis because I did all this yesterday. I'm just going to whiz through them and general comments on them really. I'm mainly looking for stuff that moved massively yesterday that might open up some opportunities. So yeah, Aussie CAD sideways, not really done anything yesterday. Aussie Swiss, we had a nice sweep of the highs on that one. So we got this area here, which is this previous balance. So we took out all the shorts and pulled back down again. So as I said yesterday, Swiss franc, we got news tomorrow morning. There's a good chance we might get a power up on the Swissy. It could go either way, obviously. It could drop massively, but I'm kind of betting on a power up on the Swissy tomorrow. So that move they did yesterday makes total sense. They've taken all the liquidity from the highs yesterday and they've pulled it back. So now everybody that was short there is stopped out. Everybody that's entered long on the break has their liquidity sitting either at that level or that level. So we have got the decks cleared basically. So if today we can get a push up and take that liquidity, that really opens the doors to come down and grab this tomorrow with a big Swiss franc move. So I'm kind of hoping today that I go into a little bit more drawdown on my US dollar Swiss in preparation for potentially that move down, but we'll see what happens today. Aussie yen, again, this one's just done a sweep. I don't think there's any liquidity here, to be honest, because you're out of that down there somewhere. So just sideways. I like it long. I'm looking for long opportunities, but I'm not looking for longs. It's a beautiful sort of trend line bounce, if you like, there. I'm not interested in these little moves on trend lines. I'm more interested in a big pullback down to here so I can long it. So not really interested in that one. Aussie New Zealand, looking for longs down here, not up there. We've got the move back down below, which is kind of held at the moment. So potentially we could either be putting in a reversal alert pull back and drop, in which case perfect, and I will jump in down here. Or this is the pullback, and this support basically, just draw in properly. This support here is holding. Yeah, in which case then obviously we're off. And Aussie New Zealand is it's been along for ages. So yeah, could well just bounce from there and go. But for me, if it had got down to here, then I'd be in it, but I'm not, because it didn't. Aussie US, no idea, sideways, gone anywhere. CAD Swiss, same thing, sideways, not really interested in this one at the minute. Nothing much happened on CAD Yen. We got a reversal alert short yesterday on that. It's just not an area I'm interested in. Down here, I'm interested in a long. All these yens, I'm interested in longs, but I'm interested in longs when we've had a decent move and the yen's knackered, and it's not. So I'm can't get in it at the minute. I want to, but I'm not taking it there. Swiss yen drop off the highs. Again, Swissy, I get the feeling we might have power up tomorrow. It's not low enough for me to get interested in it. I've got some Swissy on already with the US dollar. This is where I took it here and took that long there. That's what I'm looking for. I don't want these little pullbacks. Just not enough for me to get in. They're too dangerous, because you get in here and then if it decides it wants to go extended, you got a lot of drawdown. I want to get in when we're massively extended and ready for profit taking. So that's not extended enough. Euro odd. So all of these euros you could take. So euro odd, I'm in Euro New Zealand already. This is the same pair, basically, slightly different market structure on it, but euro odd and Euro New Zealand move very similarly. So this is this yesterday was a lovely short. Did anybody get on any of these ADRs yesterday? All these ADRs yesterday were huge. So we got drawn yesterday properly. There we go. We got 150 ADR on euro odd. The reverse alert this morning. You did have a reverse alert on this one here yesterday. So if you got on that one at the end of New York, and that, look at this, it's beautiful. That was the only reverse alert you got yesterday up there. And it's played out beautifully, unless you took one this morning. So that's playing out very, very nicely. Right now, we've got a 3-bar reversal going in at support. So we need to watch this level here. This is potentially support. So what I want to see here is a bounce back up into this propulsion gap here, ideally. That one there. And then next leg down. So yeah, really like that one as a short. I got into Euro CAD short instead, because I prefer the Canadian dollar. I think the Canadian dollar's got some strength ahead of it when we get some movement on the oil. We've got the Canadian economy shrank slightly, which is why the CAD's been a little bit weak. Not dramatically, and they're fine on inflation. They're not fine on inflation, but they're doing okay on inflation. The interest rates are pretty good. So we should see some strength coming through. The problem with the Canadian dollar is that the US dollar tends to drag it around like a rag. So if the US dollar tanks, the CAD will tank with it. They're next door to each other, big trade partners. Lots of oil moves between those two countries. So again, oil pricing affects the CAD and the US, but also the relationship between the CAD and the US is very symbiotic. So we need to be careful, because obviously the US is weak at the moment, and obviously the CAD's been dragged with it. But I prefer this one over a lot of the others at the moment, so I took that one short. The Swissy as well. The Swissy's the short from hell. Not short from hell, they're short from heaven, really. I mean, just, been a short for a long time. we are pushing up at the moment quite hard. Bear in mind these two quite often will move together on news because they are Europe. So if you look at these two as the banking sector of Europe, the manufacturing and services sector of Europe, if Europe does well, they both do well. What tends to happen though is banking will always do well, everything else won't, which is why we get that movement. So again, interest rates rumors, not necessarily going to play out. So nicely extended on the 4 hour. Why is my dashboard? Oh, it's hourly. Idiot. Sorry. I was mucking about yesterday. I was going to say, why is my dash not showing that 4 hour extension? There we go. So we have got some RSIs. Why did nobody point that one out? Go on, you're not awake, are you? Yeah, so euros. I was going to say, why is these euros not extended? So yeah, loads of euros extended on the 4 hour. So yeah, like as a short, euro pound, love it. I hate it as a pair, but love it as an extension. Yeah, just huge. Liquidity grab there, potentially, although a lot of that was probably been taken as profit by now, especially when people were seeing this flag forming. But yeah, very, 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 very extended. Week against a week, with potentially this one becoming the stronger of the two. So maybe not the best short in the world. Euro pound, I just hate trading. Euro yen, the weakest of the yen longs. Not really interested in that one. Euro New Zealand, I'm already in short. So we've had that nice push up into potential resistance. We've got all of this chop to get through now. This is an area of balance. We did a price discovery and retested. Now we're doing the opposite. So where we go from here is the question mark. But obviously, as long as we get some kind of profit take move at some point on it, we'll be fine. I'm well within an ADR. Actually, I'm not. I am an ADR on it. So I will see what happens with this one over the next couple of days. I want to start doing some aggressive drawdown control on this if we get another push. Just so that I'm on top of it by the time the rate announcement comes out next week. Euro yen you wanted to look at, didn't you? Sorry. So yeah, I skipped over it, so I'm not interested in it. I like everything long against the yen at the moment. This is potentially the weakest of the lot at the moment that you could trade against the yen. However, obviously, if we are going to get a big rate increase, we could well see power up. But the problem you have with the euro is it doesn't tend to matter too much what the ECB do with rates in the past. Whatever they've done with rates when they've increased them, the market, you remember the last rate increase we had on the euro went up 0.5 and everyone was like, wow, they've increased it by 0.5 and the market tanked. The market was not impressed. 0.5 is not enough to get on top of inflation. So there is potential for this to become a fairly nice long if we get that euro strength. However, this is where you wanted to be taking it, not up here. So a pullback, potentially you could get another leg up on this one. But it's very, very, very much at the moment in a downtrend. But it's a kind of a long-term flag which could well break. So I don't know, I just don't really like this pair at the minute. It's too messy, but it is also moving very, very nicely. Yeah, you've got a lot of movement in it. So it doesn't really matter which way you get in. If you're getting short up here, as long as you're getting the market structure and the movement and the profit take moves coming in when we're extended, you're going to get out. What I would be worried about if you were shorting this is euro strength coming off the back of the rates next week. So difficult to call that one. Euro US dollar, like as a short, obviously because of that. It's coming down nicely at the moment. I'm not sure if this is based on US or Euro. This looks like Euro weakness this morning. So this is just Euro weakness this morning. Like it short, but I've got to be extended on it because I'm not convinced about the US. So if the US gets Euro US gets extended to the upside, then I'll be looking for short opportunities somewhere up here. We've got this support, resistance. If we get up to there, up to 125 ADR, I'd be interested in a short, but at the moment I'm not interested in it. Just hovering around the 60-40 area. Nothing exciting going on there. Don't know if you mentioned AJ. Yeah, done AJ. It's just sideways at the moment. The problem with trading the Aussie or the New Zealand dollar against the yen is you are trading two currencies which are both Asia. So these both get manipulated the most during the Asian session. The majority of the time. We do get manipulation obviously through all sessions, but a lot of the movement comes in Aussie, New Zealand and yen obviously during Asia, because that's when the New Zealand market is open. So you tend to get a lot more accumulation because you're getting these two pushing and pulling at the same time. When you trade something from the Euro area or from the US against something from Asia, these are being manipulated more during two sessions. That's being manipulated more during Asia. So this has more chance to push and then get pulled. So you get bigger price action on Asian and European crosses than you do on Asian and Asian crosses. So again, as I say, the CAD yen is my favorite yen really, because you're going to get more manipulation on it. But Aussie yen, yeah, at the moment it's a long, but I want it long down here somewhere. I don't want to get in up here at highs. Potentially you're coming up to there. So you've got a good ADR and a quarter, ADR and a half, potentially move to the upside. Euro US dollar, like as short, just not there. Shauk, are you not cautious on shorts for the possible rate hike on the euro? Yes. Yes, I am. That's what I said yesterday. I'm cautious on it. I'm not taking it. I'm cautious, which means I'm not going to overexpose myself, and I'm going to make sure I space my positions nicely. But you know, don't forget a rate hike. The rate hike is going to be factored in by the market as well. So you look at what we've seen over the last couple of weeks on the euro. Not so much on the euro US, but other pairs, yeah. Yeah, this is going back to beginning of August. So this entire month, really, euro has been pushing. Yeah, this is the market factoring in a rate increase. And this is what I said yesterday in the Telegram group. How much of a percentage they are factoring in is what we don't know. When that rate announcement comes out next week, we will know whether or not the market has factored that in, because if the market has factored in that rate increase, we'll see a spike and a drop. If the market has not factored in the rate increase and it comes out way more than the market was expecting it to be, we'll get a pump. But that reverse alert there was the market anticipating a larger than 0.5% increase on the rates, I believe. So the pullback is done. The euro, right? It just, the thing you got to understand about interest rates is they are to combat inflation. If inflation is running rife and you don't put interest rates up hard and fast, that will continue to go, and that will have to be dragged along with it. What you've got to do is try and get your interest rates ahead so that it starts to flatten out inflation. If they put it up by 1.5% and the inflation figures, CPI, comes out higher, you know, than expected, they are just behind the curve. So if you put it up, if you say I'm going to put it up to by, you know, 0.75%, and they go, actually, we're going to go to 1.5%, and then the inflation figures come out at twice what we were expecting, that ain't going to do anything, is it? because you've now, what you should have done is gone to 2.5% because you haven't gone on top of it yet. You're just constantly chasing it. And this is the problem. Everybody's been really, every country has been scared to do anything with their interest rates because everybody's been stuffed by COVID. Everybody's bank balances are screwed by COVID. The economy is screwed by COVID. The funds in the ECB and in the Bank of England and the Fed are empty because of COVID. The last thing they want to do is put interest rates up. But inflation's going through the roof. They haven't got a choice. It's just a massive chase at the moment. And if those interest rates come out, that doesn't mean the market is going to go, woohoo, that's amazing. What they need to now get when that new rate comes out is an inflation figure. If inflation has started to flatten out or hasn't gone up by much, that interest rate should be enough to get on top. But you're not going to know that until you get the next inflation figures coming out. So the rate change will cause a spike. I'm 100% sure it will cause a spike. Whether that is a spike and a retracement and the market goes, yeah, not sure yet, still don't think the euro is going to get out of this, we don't know. And that's what we need to wait and see next week. So, it could be factored in already. We were expecting it to be bigger than 0.5%. Because everybody was like, well, yeah, if you don't, you get stuffed, aren't you? Look at all the other 0.5% you've done. They haven't done anything. So therefore, you need to do more, don't you? So it's not rocket science that we're expecting the ECB, the Bank of England, and everybody else to up their rates by more than 0.5%, and the Fed are following suit. So, it's very complicated economics, but the fact of the matter is, if you get an extension on Euro New Zealand, for example, because of that rate announcement, what are you creating? An elastic band which is massively stretched. Everybody that's long that is going to do what? Get out. They're going to go short. We just need to do aggressive drawdown control when they do that. If you're in a position which is in pain. Nothing different. It's business as usual, basically. It's just that we've got big events coming up, which is why I say, first thing every morning and first thing on a Monday, the first thing you do on a Monday is look at what's coming up in the week. When is the Swiss franc going to be moving this week? Right, well, there's a big thing coming up on Thursday. Chances are we're going to get some manipulation Monday, Tuesday, ready for a Thursday move. So we should see some decent volatility on the franc. So you just got to be aware of all of these things and when things are going to happen. Next week, oil. Monday, big moves on oil. We've got PMIs for the US dollar, Canada rates, euro rates. Yeah. So, I'm aware of all of this a week ahead of when it's happening because it's going to affect my positions now because you know how long positions take sometimes to unwind. You've got to be aware of it, haven't you? Way ahead of the game. But yeah, I am worried about the euro spiking. Yeah, definitely. But also, it's a week away. There's nothing to stop this coming all the way down here before next week it starts to go back up again. Yeah, I've got plenty of time. At the moment, I'm not going to not take a euro trade just because there's rates coming out in 6 trading days' time. Pound shorts still can't get in. Want it up there, can't get in. Same with the pound CAD. We just had a reversal alert, but it's a very tight. It's alerted straight into resistance. Look, so yeah, not convinced that's going anywhere. Pound Swiss, we've gone into a range. We can't break this structure at the moment. So reversal alert. The support rectangle is there after we put in this new low. We've tapped into it. We can't get through it. So this resistance is holding. Again, I'm looking for shorts, but I want to short it up here. Can't get in. Pound yen, mess. Pound New Zealand shorts as well, but again, not really an opportunity to get in. The opportunity to get in was there. Pound US, again, still shorts on it. Still, regardless of whether the US weakens or strengthens or what it does, it's usually stronger than the pound, and there's no reason why that shouldn't continue. So again, looking for some kind of pullbacks to get in, to get short on it at some point. The New Zealand's, again, nothing much happened yesterday on these, so no real movement to speak of. I'm not really interested in shorting them here. I want to short them higher up, but this is just kind of range bound at the moment. And it's just a mess basically, but it's moving. It's a nice mess. It's moving nicely. So you can get in really any direction you like on this one, on any extension, if you get an extension. Last one was down here at these lows. I'd much rather be short it than long it though. New Zealand Swiss, same thing. I'm in the US dollar Swiss. I'm not going to overexpose myself on the Swissy. Looking for shorts. So where you are now, if you look at this on the hourly, I didn't quite get it yesterday. That would have been nice yesterday as an entry. If we push up today towards ADR and take out that liquidity and that liquidity, or take out that liquidity really, in this propulsion gap, that'd be a nice short ahead of tomorrow's rate announcement, which I'm not going to be here for, which is really annoying. I'm not here tomorrow, by the way. Did I mention that? I'm going off tomorrow. Yeah, I did mention it. So live room, next one's on Friday. New Zealand dollar yen, sideways mess. Looking more for longs than shorts. You need to trade this on the hourly at the moment. No entries on it. There's a flat. Shorts on New Zealand US still. Again, looking for pumps. Ready to take a drop, but can't get into that one either. US dollar CAD. Like longs on this. I like a short. We got my target hit yesterday. Remember I took that alert off. I had an alert set here to go short. And it's gone short exactly where my alert would have been. I can't remember where my alert was, but it was there. It was in that propulsion gap. To take a short, because I was looking for basically this liquidity to get run and then to get a short out of there. Yeah, that was the entry yesterday. I wasn't paying attention to that one. It doesn't look as appealing now. The way we got there, what I wanted to happen, and the reason I had that alert in there was I wanted to take this liquidity. And as you can see, we were extended on the 4 hour, just about to get extended on the 4 hour. What I wanted them to do was get nicely extended on the 4 hour to take that liquidity, and then they would need to do that pullback. What actually happened was we got that pullback, and now it's pushed up again. It's not extended now. So this is just normal market structure now playing out, which it doesn't look as appealing. It looks like it can go higher, in which case then this is where I want to get short. Again, up at ADR. I need it extended. It's just not extended now. It looked good. That level looked good when we were down here somewhere. But now the way that we've got to it, it just doesn't look particularly appealing. It looks like it wants to continue higher. Especially the way that oil's come down. So I'm going to leave that for a minute. If it gets up to there, extended, then yes, I'd be interested. So an ADR hit to the upside today. Be liking a short look on that one. US dollar Swiss, I'm short on, waiting on the Swissy. And US dollar yen, just pushing up into the highs at the moment. This 130, it's 139, isn't it? Yeah. This is obviously all-time highs. So be interesting to see what happens if and when we get back up to touch that. I get the feeling with the US dollar not being particularly strong, and the yen obviously being weak at the moment, I get the feeling we might get a really nice double top off of that. So that could be a very good looking short opportunity if we get there. So in fact, it's not far off today, is it? I'm just going to set an alert up there. Just below there. So watch that level today, US dollar yen 139.350-ish, somewhere around there. If we can push up to there today and get an ADR hit on that, we might get a very nice double top reaction off that, because that'll be the first time coming back to test this all-time high. And there'll be a lot of limit orders sitting there looking to go short. There will probably be a lot of orders looking to take the breakout as well, but obviously most breakouts tend to fail first time. So ADR hit on that will be a nice little short, maybe a very nice short, but it should at least get a reaction. So that's a nice looking opportunity for this morning, or potentially this afternoon, US dollar yen for a little short opportunity. We're not going to get extended pushing up there. It's just going to be a normal move. You'll be extended on M15 if we get there. So, oh, and again, this looks like a pretty good move up to there. Taking the children to the Forex Museum. Yes. No, going to Thorpe Park to throw up on some rides. Not really. I just won't eat all day. Yeah. Right. So that's everything covered. There's not really any new opportunities that I can see. So the 4 hours that we've got extended are all euro based. So you've got Euro CAD, which is coming out of extension. That's the one I took yesterday. Euro Swiss, little bit more of a risky one because of the Swiss franc tomorrow. Euro Pound is the most extended of the lot, but it is the slowest mover. Typically that's the one that got the furthest. This is the most extended thing out there at the minute. So from a profit take perspective, you should at least get a move back to 85,400 at least. If not, much deeper. So this is a really good short, but it's just, it can take forever to get. And look how far you've got to go. Yeah, that took what, a week and a bit. You know, so if this is going to flag ready for a new leg up next week, it could take, you know, although it's taken like a couple of days to get there, take a couple of weeks to come back down again. It's just a horrible pair, but again, equally, you know, could have a massive move. But we've got nothing euro based that's really going to do that apart from this Swiss franc tomorrow. So it's whether or not this Swiss franc CPI comes out and actually moves the market. If it comes out as expected, we may see absolutely nothing happen on the Swissy, in which case it'll be euros business as usual. So DAX gap has filled, is it? Yep, there's your gap fill. Done. Euro CAD's coming down nicely. That looks like Canadian dollar strength. No. Yeah, a little bit of CAD strength. Not massively though. German unemployment figures just come out. Normal, nothing to report there. So yeah, so today basically we got CPI for the euro. So just be aware of this at 10 o'clock in an hour's time. We've got those CPI figures coming out. Even though it's an orange news, we need to see what the estimates are for this, because this will give us a really good indication as to what's going to happen with inflation moving forward. And obviously depending on what the interest rates do next week, that's going to have a massive impact on the euro. So I think there'll be a lot of people watching this today to see what the forecasts are. If it's 9 and this comes out at roughly 9, that extra 1.5% or that extra 0.5 or 0.25 or 0.75, whatever they do extra on top of the forecast next week, if that comes out pretty much as expected, that may well be enough to get on top of it, which will be bullish. If this comes out much bigger than expected, the interest rate increase won't have as much impact, so therefore it might be a bit flatter on the euro. So I think there'll be eyes watching this, but it will really depend on what this comes out as today. So we're watching that. So be prepared for some volatility in about an hour. It may or may not happen. And obviously watch the DAX, because the DAX will move off of that as well if you're trading the DAX. So I'm going to leave that on that short. I'm not. This is a position I'm building, so I'm not going to play around with that. Yeah, and so 1:15 this afternoon, non-farm employment change. That really hit and miss. That's not it's non-farm payroll. I really wish they'd changed the name of these. Non-farm employment change, the ADP non-farm employment change. They should just change this to non-farm payroll. That's what everybody calls it. And keep that one the same, then everyone won't get confused, because this one doesn't tend to do a lot. We will get some movement, but don't expect it to go completely crazy. And then we got GDP for the CAD this afternoon as well. So we might get some movement off that. All right. So I'm not here tomorrow, but obviously keep your eyes peeled. We've got PMIs after market, after New York open tomorrow. And we've got that one, the Swissy CPI. So I think I'm leaving. Probably leaving about 8 o'clock, 8:15 tomorrow. So I will probably be around for that. So I'll probably be in the Telegram group for when that comes out in the morning. And we'll keep an eye on that. But I've obviously got exposure on the Swissy in my Euro Swiss short, which is still going great guns at the moment. So I'm getting, depending on what happens with this one today, I will be looking to probably do a little bit more of an aggressive position on this one and try and make a dent into this if we get extended. Oil I'm not particularly worried about at the moment. So business as usual, really. How does I stop doing? Blech. See how quick it can flip-flop. I had about 100 and something profit on that this morning. So yeah, keep your eyes on everything. And yeah, anything you need, let me know. I'll be in the Telegram group. It's the last day of the month today, obviously. I've had a 26% month, which is unbelievable. Not the norm at all. If you're watching this for the first time, that's not normal. Just everything this month has worked out. Every piece of aggressive drawdown control I've done has not just been a move in my direction. It's been a cascade. And it's just allowed me to bank, 2s and 3% where I would normally bank 0.5% and 1%. And there's been a lot of movement this month, which has just worked. I've managed to milk oil loads this month. So the main differences I've made this month and last month is I've started position trading oil and DAX, which I have not done before, and it's made a massive impact. So I'm going to continue to position trade oil and DAX throughout the winter months as well, and see what impact that has. But I'm going to see whether they're worth introducing into my normal portfolio, because they seem to be doing very, very well. They're fast moving instruments, and they are very, very, as you can see, very good market structure, because we've got a push and a pull happening in the New York and the London sessions on these a lot. So not something I've really position traded before. So hopefully I will keep those in, and the normal sort of 8 to 15% months I have may well turn into 15 to 20s. You never know. You have to experiment with things. Equally, it could all go the wrong way and it could really hurt. Stay tuned. You'll find out. Themba, do I think DAX will sweep yesterday's lows? Probably where it is now, yeah. Not far away. There you go. I'll put a TP there for you. That'll make it definitely happen. Jason, which EA strategy am I using? For my Forex funds, or normally, I mean, my I don't use I trade manually, but I use the EA. So basically, the way that I use the EA personally is I have my bias and I put the EA on the chart that I'm interested in trading and tell it to trade it for me. So when I put the EA on my account, the only settings I have are direction and distance between trades. Which is down here. Yeah, so literally I put the EA on and my set file that I use is getting half an ADR apart in the direction I want you to get in. Because what I'm doing is every day I'm doing analysis as to whether or not something looks like I want to get into it. So normally it would be RSI extensions. So you could put the EA on this chart saying when 4 hour gets extended above 30, take reversal alerts short, which is what the set files I published are. My strategies are H4 M15, H1 M5, RSI extensions, and getting in on the pullbacks and reversals at those levels, and spacing positions out half an ADR apart. That's what those set files are. But I don't set the EA up on all pairs and say do that strategy, because I have a bias. Yeah, so things like the euro US dollar, I want it to get me in short. So yes, I could put the EA on here and say only take trades below the 72, because you can use the moving averages as well on the EA. I could set it up to do this, but I'm doing this every day. I'm in front of the charts all day long every day, so I don't need to set the EA up on 100% autopilot. I want to get into positions when I want to get into positions. I don't want to be relying on the EA to do everything. But to answer the question, I'm using H4 M15, but I am actually running the EA on M5 because I find that M5, you get tighter entries. So with M5, some of the times you miss on M15. So I'm trading H4 M15 basically. But that reversal alert there yesterday at parity pretty much. Oh, we're at parity again. On M5, you will find some of these that don't get triggered. You will get triggered on M5. So if we've moved, say, 3/4 of an ADR up, the M15 reversal alert might trigger down here. The M5 reversal alert will trigger up there. And that's the difference between me getting into a position up here or missing that position and going into that sort of movement and not being able to take profit on that. So I'm actually finding personally at the moment that H4 M5 is actually working better for me. So I'm still using 4 hour extensions, but instead of using M15 for entries, I'm using M5 instead. I've never tested this in the strategy tester because I've always used H4 M15 and H1 M5. So M5 for entries, H1 for direction and extension. But there's so little difference between these two. You know, it doesn't really matter too much, but I just find, you know, that reversal alert there, look how tight and easy that was to get into. On M15, yeah, the reversal alert would have been there. I'll show you the difference. So there's the low. So that's your reversal alert on M15. It's obviously not a reversal alert because we're in an accumulation, but the break of structure is there. Yeah. On M5, that break of structure was there. Yeah. That is a 20 pip difference. On a pair which is 100 ADR, that's almost a quarter of the ADR difference. So I find that on M5, when you get, you use the EA or not, but you get these instances where I say I want to get in half an ADR apart, right? What will happen is, let's say that half an ADR in this case, as it is 49 pips. If price moves 55 pips against me and then reverses in one candle, and that is more than 10 pips, that M15 entry won't get me in because that entry will be too close to that entry. The M5 entry would have been up there. The M5 entry will get me in. So I find my spacing is better using M5 than it is with M15. I'm missing opportunities on M15, and M5 is getting me into those opportunities, which is another thing I've changed in the last 2 months as well, which has probably had an impact on the profit because I've been taking profit much faster. I've taken a lot more trades. I've banked a lot more often, and which has given me, instead of 0.5% days, it's given me 0.7% and 0.1%. Yeah, somewhere between a half to 100% more banking per day equals double the bank per month, doesn't it? And I think that's partly what's happened as well, is using M5 instead of M15 as an entry. But you know me, rules are rules, and rules are there to be broken. And if I see a setup that looks good, I will take it. And if the EA, like yesterday, some of these moves yesterday on these euros, as a really good example, euro pound, yeah. The EA yesterday did not give you an opportunity to get in here. Yeah, so you got a low there, never broke. That low never broke. Then there's that low, never broke. That low never broke. Never broke. Never broke. Never broke. That one was the first break you got on M15. First reversal alert would have been that candle there. Yeah. This hit ADR here. Yeah, so the reversal alert would have been too far away to get me in. So I will have instances where I won't take the reversal alert because the reversal alert is just not going to, like this one here, right? Say you wanted to get short now and the reversal alert was here. This hasn't redrawn properly. I keep getting this issue with MT4 at the moment. But, you know, if you've got a reversal alert there, that's too far sometimes, because a structure, if you get a big strong push and you get green candle after green candle after green candle, you're just not going to get the reversal alert until the move is 50% over. So you have to use your head sometimes. You know, if I see an ADR alert and I look at it and go, I'm not going to get a reversal alert on it, I'll just literally go bang, hit the sell button. This is why EAs are, I just don't agree with sticking an EA on a chart and letting it trade for you, because you as a human being will see opportunities the EA just won't see, and you'll take them and they'll be amazing and you'll make a load of money out of them. You know, and you've got to look at the charts. If you're trading the 4-hour chart, you've got to check this chart 3 times a day. You're sleeping for 3 candles, you're awake for 3 candles. Yeah, it doesn't take much, does it, to check a 4-hour chart 3 times a day. That's enough to get you in the positions. Which is why I love H4, because you don't have to sit in front of the charts and eyeball it constantly like you do with M5, M15 and other time frames. Sorry, Crazy, does DAX go during non-farm? Yes, everything goes during non-farm, but non-farm is Friday, not today. Which is why I say they need to change the name of this one. They're different. So This one is the estimated change in the number of employed people during the previous month, excluding the farming industry and government. This is the change in the number of employed people during the previous month, excluding the farming industry. That's the big difference. And that there. Estimated, government. The actual change in everything but farming. Yeah, this is the one that moves the market. This is by the ADP, right? And this one is by the Bureau of Labour Statistics. The Bureau of Labour Statistics provide the official figures for the Fed. These guys don't. But this is a forecast for that. So what happens to this tends to be what happens to that. But not always. Which is why this is so confusing. Basically, this will move the market. You tend to get a spike today. You get a spike, you'll get movement. But it won't be non-farm payroll. You'll get that. Non-farm payroll, you'll get that. You know, it's just one of those things. But yeah, Friday's non-farm payroll. Not today. It's the one that comes out with the employment. But if you ever want to know, it's the one that comes out with employment and earnings. Yeah. It's the three reds in a row at the same time. That's non-farm. And that's why it moves so much. There's three red news events which are leading, well, some of them are leading indicators, some of them are reactionary indicators, but there's three big indicators coming out at the same time. That's why we get that big movement off non-farm. It's not that one that necessarily is what's moving the market. It's the combination of all of this happening. And underlying on that as well, where are we? Oh no, you haven't. I thought you had more. I thought you had more coming out on that one, or maybe it's this one you get more coming out on Wednesdays. No, I thought there was more underlyings on that, but there's not. I'm wrong on that one. I thought there was more yellow. Anyway, but yeah. So Friday is your biggie. I'm going to try and use the EA more now. Sorry to ask, but do you have the presets in the Telegram group? The presets are on the blog post, linked from the indicator and linked from the website. So on the EA page, there's a link to starter set files. That will take you to all the EA set files. But you know, as I say, just you need to use this how you want to use it. Those set files basically will take you to all these, and it will give you all the instructions on what those strategies are. If you want to use GUM15 mean reversion, just get rid of the H4 RSI extension and stick it on M5 and you've pretty much got the same thing. But this tells you what all the strategies are doing. The trend pullback strategy is using the moving average, yeah, and the RSI extension in combination. So it takes less trades because it's only taking shorts rather than taking longs and shorts. So it won't take any of those. It only takes those ones. But they are only trend based. Yeah, so it fully explains all the strategies, and then you just download that, and then there is two sets of set files. One is MT5, one is MT4. But yeah, but just undo the bits, you know, just go, you just have to go through it. So just open up the settings for the EA and just go go through it. I haven't got those set files in here. Yes, I have. So yeah, for example, let's set one up on something. So if you load H1 M5 mean reversion CTI, so hang on, H1 mean reversion. So that will, yeah, you still need to set the direction if you want to. I mean, at the moment, it will basically trade every time the hourly RSI is extended. It will trade. It will start to trade. Yeah, I will put this onto the chart and say pound yen. I only want to take longs on it, so I will set that to long only. But if you want to trade both ways and you've got something range bound, obviously leave it as it is. Automatically gets you in with a 0.25% risk. You might want to change that based on ADR, and it's based on a half an ADR. The filters, RSI on the current time frame is ignored. Higher time frame, so we're looking on the hourly. That's an RSI. Sorry, 1 day. What? That's wrong. That should be hourly. Oh no, the right set file then. Oh, these are old. Christ. Okay, yeah, these are probably not the ones I've downloaded from the website. Yeah, that should be set to hourly. Might want to check that. Doesn't use the moving averages, this one. So you could say, yes, I want to use the moving averages. I want to use the daily 72, 24, etc. And it will get you in to positions 1 ADR apart. It will close out when it gets to $25 in profit. Again, all these settings need to be adjusted because that was done on a $1,000 account. If you're trading a $10,000 account, you don't want to get out at $25 profit, do you? You know, but again, this is why the manual is there, and this is why everything is explained in detail in the manual and in here as to what everything does, because you're going to need to adjust it to your account size and everything that you do. I'll need to check those set files. Might just download those and just check they are right, because that should have been an H1, not a D1. Unless I accidentally loaded the MT5 version, in which case it will have different inputs. I'll check it anyway. But anyway, just check it, you know. And again, EAs, test it. Always test it, regardless of whether you're testing my EA, anybody else's EA, you've made your own EA, whatever you've done. Always run it through the strategy tester first and make sure it's doing what you want. Test it in visual mode. Make sure it is taking extensions on the hourly RSI. If it's not, why not? Check the inputs. Yeah, you just got to check these things. It's your account. It's your money. You need to make sure whatever you put on there is doing what you want it to do in the way you want it to do it. Because at the end of the day, it's going to take trades for you. And if it's taking trades wrong, it's your fault, not the EA. The EA is only as good as the person that is doing the inputs. It'll do what it's told. If you tell it to do something stupid, it'll do something stupid. But we all know that, don't we? Right, I'll leave it there. So I'm not here tomorrow. I'll be back on Friday. I will be around in the Telegram group tomorrow morning, though. Basically, while the Swiss franc announcement is going on. So I'll be watching that carefully. I'll update you on anything that I close out today or anything new that I take. I've got nothing new planned to be taken. I'm happy with my exposure at the moment, so I should just be waiting to see what happens today. And hopefully we'll get some movement again. As I say, be aware of all of these expiries we've got today. We might see another big day today, mainly this afternoon. We've got a lot of options expiries this afternoon, so we could see a lot of manipulation to get to levels today. So just be a little careful, and obviously I suspect the majority of that will happen sometime this afternoon. Right, that's it. So I will be back tomorrow on Friday morning, 7:50, same time, non-farm payroll day. I might do a special one on Friday for non-farm payroll. I might do one in the afternoon as well, so that we can watch the chaos unfold. And I'll update you obviously every day of what's happening with this account. Yeah, fingers crossed, get another funded account under the belt, and I might set this to position trade. We'll see. All right, guys, have a good one. Hopefully it's profitable today. And if you need anything, come in the Telegram group. I'll be in there all day. And otherwise, I will see you Friday morning. Have a good one.